All right, let's talk about the massive showdown happening right now between two of the biggest names in real estate, Zillow and Compass. And I'm telling you, this is not just some boring corporate squabble. This is a full-on legal battle that could completely change how we all buy and sell homes. So let's get right into it.
So, the big headline, the thing that's got everyone talking, is that Zillow just landed a major punch, winning a big round in court against Compass. But you gotta understand, this one ruling, it's really just the latest shot fired in a much, much bigger war over what real estate is gonna look like in the future.
And that's the real question here, right? What is this fight actually about? Because believe me, it goes so much deeper than just two companies trying to get ahead. This is a battle over information, over access, and really over who gets to control the entire real estate market.
Okay, so Section 1, Zillow wins a round. To really get what's going on, we have to start with the latest news, the judge's decision that has the whole industry buzzing.
Here's the scoop. Compass basically went to the court and said, hey, you've got to stop Zillow from rolling out this new policy. They wanted an injunction, which is just a fancy legal way of saying, hit the pause button. But on February 6th, the judge came back and said, nope, not going to do it. That means Zillow's new rule can stay for now.
Now, the judge laid out her thinking in this huge 50-page opinion, but it really boils down to three key things. First, she said there was no real proof that Zillow was secretly scheming with another company, Redfin. Second, she was pretty skeptical of the idea that Zillow is a monopoly, pointing out that agents have other places to go. And third, and this is the real kicker, Compass just couldn't prove that this new policy would cause what the law calls irreparable harm to its business.
So that covers the court's decision. But what is this policy that's causing all this drama? Well, that brings us right to the heart of the fight, this whole debate over so-called private listings.
You know how some restaurants have a secret menu that only insiders know about? Well, that's the perfect way to think about a private listing. It's a house that an agent is definitely trying to sell, but it's not on the main menu, the multiple listing service, or MLS, that feeds all the public websites like Zillow. It's kind of like a VIP sneak peek for a very small crowd.
And this gets to a really fundamental clash of ideas. Zillow's whole philosophy is about complete transparency. They think every single listing should be out in the open for everyone to see at the exact same time. But Compass? They're all about seller choice. They argue that a homeowner should absolutely have the right to test the waters first with a private strategy before going wide to the public.
Let's move on to Section 3, two giants, two views. And trust me, this isn't some quiet academic debate. Both of these companies have been very, very loud about where they stand. So let's take a look at what they've said, in their own words.
First up, we've got Compass's CEO, Robert Refkin. He frames this whole thing as a duty to his people. He's saying, look, our agents are our clients, and we have to protect them from Zillow, who he claims is out to punish the agent. So for Compass, this is all about defending their team and doing what's best for their clients.
And then Zillow comes right back at them, and they do not pull any punches. They say Compass is hiding listings away in its private vault. I mean, wow, you can feel the tension in those words, right? Zillow is painting a picture of Compass as being selfish and secretive in a way that hurts regular homebuyers and even smaller real estate companies.
Okay, Section 4, the road to court. So you've got these two titans with totally opposite worldviews. How did this go from a simple business disagreement to a full-blown federal lawsuit? Let's trace the timeline.
This conflict definitely didn't just happen overnight. It really started heating up in March of 2025 when the National Association of Realtors changed one of its key policies. Just 1 month later, Zillow dropped its bombshell rule banning private listings. By June, Compass said, "We'll see in court," and filed the lawsuit. It all came to a head in a super intense 4-day hearing in November, which then led to that judge's ruling we just talked about in February.
Okay, so that brings us to our final section, and honestly, the most important one, what this means for you. We've gone over the companies, the policy, the lawsuit, but why should any of us care? Why does this matter if you're just trying to find a place to live?
Because this goes way beyond Zillow versus Compass. This is really a fight for control over information itself. The outcome of this case could set the rules for years to come about who gets to decide how real estate data is shared. Will it be the big tech companies, the agent organizations, or you?
It really just boils down to a few critical questions. Do we want a world where every single home for sale is public information from the second it hits the market? Or do we think it's more important for sellers to have the right to a more exclusive, private approach? And really, the biggest question of all, who gets to be the gatekeeper for all of this incredibly valuable information?
So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. This lawsuit is a preview of the biggest power struggle happening in real estate today. As technology completely reshapes this industry, who is ultimately going to be calling the shots? Is it going to be the massive platforms that have all the data? Or will it be the individual sellers and the agents working on the ground? The entire future of the market really hangs on that question.